Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama.
Hare Krishna, am I audible? Vipin Pro, can you confirm?
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
you're
So
audible.
we are very happy to welcome all the participants for the Gita Saar Essence of Bhagavad Gita series, all those who have joined today for our second session. We already have Vrajakrishna Dasji joined with us in the meeting. Without any further delay, we would like to start. And just a small note, if you have any questions, you can keep it for the last 10 minutes. At 8 o'clock, there will be question answers for last 10 minutes. That time you can raise hand or else type in the chat box. You can keep your questions ready, typed in the chat, and you can send to host only. Like host is Krishna Dasi, you can send to him your questions, and Prji will be happy to answer. Now let us begin our today's journey on the Bhagavad Gita second session. Hare Krishna.
Hello. Hare Krishna. So I'm very happy to see all of you today. And today we are going to discuss something very special. And as you might have received already the audio on the WhatsApp. So let's begin with prayers. Om Agyan Timarandhase Gyanam Jana Shalakaya Chakshu Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasha Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So brief revision of something what we have discussed yesterday. So yesterday we have discussed the 5 topics of Bhagavad Gita. So would you like to write what are the 5 topics of Bhagavad Gita, which we had discussed in the introduction yesterday? First was Jiva, soul. Who am I? Then, is there a God? Then why do bad people are happy and good people suffer in this world? Karma. Then Prakriti. How about our nature? And the fifth one we have studied about Kala. How the time affects this world. And then we have discussed about that how. So today we'll be covering chapters 1 to 3. And here is the darshan of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra Mai. And this presentation is dedicated to His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and Gita Mahatmya. Gita Shastramidam Punyam Ya Pathe Tarata Puman Vishnu Padam Avapnoti Bhaya Shoka Divarjitaha. One who with a regulated mind recites with devotion this Bhagavad Gita scripture, which is the bestower of all virtue, will attain to a holy abode such as Vaikuntha, the residence of Lord Vishnu, which is always free from the mundane qualities based on fear and lamentation. So yesterday we had discussed about the scene of Kurukshetra war. In the Kurukshetra, both Pandavas and Kauravas were sitting together, were just about to fight, and that's a time Arjuna got bewildered whether I should fight or not fight. And at that scene, when Arjuna was in great anxiety, was in stress, at that time Bhagavad Gita was spoken, right? And even in such a time of stress, such a time of difficulty, when Arjuna received the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, his mind became completely pacified. He was confident to do his duty. He was ready to fight. In the same way, when we receive the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we have all positivity in our life. We are ready for fighting the battle of this life, right? So this is the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And we saw the character, diplomacy versus character. Duryodhana had diplomacy, but Yudhishthira had character, and finally Yudhishthira won. And we have ended at this point. See how the Lord Krishna eva mukta rishikesho gudakeshena bharataha senyo rubhayo madhe sthapayatva rathottamam. O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. And when Arjuna saw Duryodhana, so he was eager to fight, but Krishna had put his chariot in front of Bhishma and Dronacharya. Because Dronacharya was a teacher of Arjuna and Bhishma was a grandfather. So when Arjuna saw it, his heart was melted with compassion that how can I kill my teacher and my grandfather? And he got completely confused. Who has come for fighting, and both fighting spirits are ready to fight, and he got confused what to do. So this was just like Indian-Pakistan army, are standing in front of each other, and the two generals come, and they found these two generals are the brothers, right? One is like Chacha uncle, and one is a Bhanja or the Bhatija, we say, right? So they are standing, and the Bhatija thinks, how can I fight my Pakistani Chacha general? And he thinks, I will not fight. So such an intense situation at the battlefield of Kurukshetra after Arjuna saw. And he was completely bewildered. Whether should I fight? Whether should I not fight? And all symptoms of stress were visible on the face of Arjuna. And you see, Krishna is just becoming a chariot driver of Arjuna. There's a whole story. Why did Krishna become a chariot driver of Arjuna? So Lord Krishna decided that I will not fight in this battlefield. And both Duryodhana and Arjuna, they wanted support of Lord Krishna. So first Duryodhana arrived, and when Lord Krishna was sleeping, and that time Duryodhana came and sit and towards the head of the Lord. And then Arjuna arrived. But Arjuna came and slept at sat at the lotus feet of the Lord. When Lord awoke, see when you awake from sleep, what do we see? We see somebody who is at the feet. We don't see somebody else at the head. The same way when Lord Krishna awoke, he saw Arjuna first and then Duryodhana. And Lord Krishna, understanding that they have come for the hell for the war, he told that I will not fight in this war. But at one side, you can choose me without any weapon, or you can choose my Narayani Sena. So Narayani Sena is a big military, of lakhs of soldiers. And here is Lord Krishna without any weapon. But Lord Krishna said, because I saw Arjuna first and Arjuna is younger, so first I will give my choice to Arjuna. Let Arjuna choose. And Arjun, without any hesitation, he chose Krishna. That I want Lord Krishna even without weapons. And Duryodhana said, oh, this Arjuna is a sentimental fool. I don't want there. I want Lord's Narayani Sena. And then Duryodhana chose Lord's Narayani Sena. And therefore, and Arjuna requested, Lord, will you become my chariot driver? And this is the humility of Lord Krishna. Who is a master of all worlds. He himself was a great king, and himself is a master of goddess of fortune. But he agrees to become a chariot driver of his devotee Arjuna. So this is the introduction of Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. So this is a beauty of devotion to God, that God becomes the chariot driver. O descendant of Bharata, having thus been, Lord Krishna took the fine chariot. And Arjuna was completely bewildered, seeing the whole army. And he said, limbs of my body are quivering, mouth is drying up, my hairs are standing on end, my skin is burning. See, this were all the symptoms of the stress in the life of Arjuna. He was in difficulty. And then he said to Krishna that 5 reasons why I should not fight. The first reason he says, we should have some compassion for Bhishma and Dronacharya, right? How can I kill? All are my friends and relatives. How can I kill? And even if I gain victory, if my relatives are dead, with whom I will enjoy the kingdom? It will be tainted by their blood. And the third reason he says, we will incur sinful reaction. If we kill my preceptor, if I kill my grandfather, we will receive sinful reactions. And the fourth reason Arjuna says, if people die, if so many people die, then many women will become widow. And what will happen? All family traditions will go away. A one Shankara population will happen. And the fifth, he said, I'm unable to decide, Krishna, please help me. And this acronym we can have CESDI. Okay. An acronym for 5 reasons for Arjuna gives to Krishna why I cannot fight this battle. Now, many times people ask, why this battlefield was fought if so many people died, right? Why this battlefield was fought because so many people died? Krishna should have avoided, if Krishna is God, he should have avoided that war. Now, my question is, what did Duryodhana did with Draupadi? Even in today's parliament, no parliament in any country, they will dare bringing a woman in the parliament and make her naked, right? None of the country's parliament this will be allowed. But Duryodhana tried to do that. He played with the reputation of Draupadi. So if Yatha Raja Tatha Praja, if Duryodhana being the king had done with Draupadi, whole Praja will do such immorality, and to punish such an immoral person was a goal for Mahabharata, to remove adharma from the planet Earth, and that's why this Mahabharata war was there. So it was a dharmic war, the war of dharma of Pandavas, then the side of adharma of Duryodhana. And that's why it was Dharam Kshetre, Kuru Kshetre, Samveda, Yusava. And all those people who sided Duryodhana while he was disrobing Draupadi, like Bhishma, Dronacharya, all their life is spent shorted. So anytime any woman is mishandled, all the people involved, their life gets mishandled. So to protect his devotee, Draupadi, and to establish dharma, that how everyone in the society should be treated, this war was fought. Now, so thus ends the chapter 1 with the stress of Arjuna, and Arjuna kept his Gandhi down. And then this is a link between chapter 1 and chapter 2. So we have come to chapter 2 now. So Arjuna says to Krishna, Kaparne dosho prahata savava Prichhami tam dharma sammuna cheta Yashe hasya neshitam prohitan me Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Kaparne dosho. I'm confused about my duty now, O Lord Krishna. Prichami tam dharma sammona cheta. You are the master of religion. You're a great person in advanced religion. I ask you, you tell me, what should I do? Should I fight or should I not fight? Shishyastaham shadimam tapapannam. I surrender. Now I was your friend, but now I become your disciple. So this is a concept of friend, philosopher, and guide. So Lord Krishna is acting as a friend, philosopher, and guide to Arjuna. First he was friend. Now he's become his philosopher and guide in life. So Bhagavad Gita is the best philosopher, friend, and guide to us, which explain us how we can live life happily, how can be very effective in our life in this world. And this is what Bhagavad is teaching about, and Lord Krishna is saying, so please instruct me. So what are these instructions of Bhagavad Gita which brought about a change in the life of Arjuna? That at the end of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is saying, I'm ready to fight. And Krishna said to Arjuna, Yatha ichhasi tada kuru. Whatever you desire, you do. But Arjuna says, no, I will follow your instructions, my Lord. So this whole treatise, and Bhagavad Gita is not a book of religion. It's a book of universal values, because 5,000 years before when Bhagavad Gita was spoken, none of the religions were there. Only one religion, Sanatan Dharma. Right? There were no Christianity, no Islam, no Jewish, no other. Only one religion, Sanatan Dharma, which is coming from the dawn of creation. So Bhagavad Gita is not a book of religion, it's a book of universal values, it's a book for any human being to live happily in this world. It's a manual given by God. And just like you purchase a scooty, you purchase a bike, you purchase a computer, if we use it according to manual, we will be happy. The same way, when we have the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, right, and use it like a manual, live our human form of life according to the direction of Bhagavad Gita, we'll find happiness in this world and in the next world. And this is a glory that every human being should understand, this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So 5,000 years ago, he's saying, my whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, my bow Gandhi is sleeping from my hand, and my skin is burning. I'm now unable to stand here any longer. I'm forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune, O Krishna. So there is stress, depression, anxiety, lack of confidence. But Arjuna emerged victorious. How? He heard the knowledge of soul from Lord Krishna. So for the first knowledge, what Lord Krishna spoke to Arjuna, who are you, Arjuna? First realize the Bhishma and Drona who are standing in front of you, they are not this body, they're spirit soul, they're eternal. And when Arjuna received this knowledge of soul, then Arjuna got enlightenment. And the first verse of knowledge, what Lord Krishna spoke to Arjuna is this. Dehino asmin yatha dehe kaumaram yovanam jaraha tata dehantar prapte dhiras tatra namuyati. According to medical science, in 7 years, our all soul cells of the body are changed. In 7 years, all the cells in our body are changed. Now imagine a boy who is lost in a Kumbh Mela at the age of 5 years, he comes at the age of 30 to his parent that I am your children. Now somehow, parents recognize that they're the same because the body of the person is changed. Even parents may not identify that he's our son, but somehow that connection happens. They will accept the child as their own son. Why? So the body is changed. In 25 years, 3 times the bodily cells have changed. Bodily eye structure has changed. Everything has changed. But why do you think the parent will accept the son? Because the body has changed, but the soul is the same. Right? The soul is the same. So that's what Lord Krishna is saying. A person grows from childhood to boyhood to young age to old age. The body is always changing. Similarly, death is also a change. And when we understand this point, that we are not this body, we are a spirit soul. And death, and yesterday also we saw, who am I? So death is a change at the time of death, right? And people. So you give up one body and you accept another body. Like Vansansi Janna Jinani Yatha Vyahe Naroparani Navani Granani. So here, this was a heroine before death, and this is a photo after death. Now, what is the difference you think between the two photos? The here she's living and here she is dead. So her consciousness is not there. Face, there is no effulgence and there is no aura. But when the soul is there, there is an aura. So when the soul passes away, a person feels, nothing is there. So as we saw yesterday, there's a gross body, there's a subtle body, and there is a soul. Bliss, knowledge, and eternity. Now this diagram, if you see, you're not a body that you see in the mirror, but you are Atma, the soul, the real driver of the bodily car. So how Bhagavad Gita explains, there are 5 vayus in our body: Adan, Upan, Apan, Saman, Vayan. And the soul is situated in the region of the heart. We say, no, अंतिम सांस, इनकी अंतिम सांस पूरी हो गई. जितनी सांस भरी उतना चले खिलौना, right? जितनी चाबी भरी उतने चले खिलौना. So the same way, the number of breath of a person is constant. So what happens at the time of death? The antim sauce goes away. Then a person is not able to breathe. So where does the soul stays in the body? It is equivalent by the 4 airs which are in our body: Apan, Udan, Pran, Vayu. Like Pran Vayu, Pran nikal gaye iske. We might have heard in Hindi, iske Pran nikal gaye. So the Pran Vayu, the soul goes away. Right? The soul is currently situated in the region of heart. Now we say, okay, if soul is situated in the region of heart, if somebody does byplastic, this bypass surgery of heart, then where does the soul goes? The heart is a seed and soul is residing over there. So even the bypass surgery happens, soul remains in the region of heart only. So we see the bodies, but at the time of this body, that goes away. Even from childhood to young age, this body changes. Then who we are, right? Then we are something different from this body. So you are not a body that you see in the mirror, but the soul is seated here. Our real identity is different. And this is the first thing of knowledge to understand, that I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul. And only if this knowledge is applied in life, there will be no quarrel in the world. Because whether you say American, Indian, Pakistani, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, they're all essentially spirit soul, part and parcel of God. So we make so much differentiation based upon bodily differentiation. And the first thing of knowledge is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita: we are not this body, we are spirit soul. And this is another example given: Vansansi jinani yatha vyahe navani garnati naro prani yatha sharirani vyahe jinani anyani samyati navani. Just like we give up the old clothes and wear the new clothes, right? We like wearing new clothes and giving the old clothes. But the person remains the same. Same way, the sharir, this body is a cloth. The Atma gives up one body and takes up another body. And this is called the process of transmigration, the process of reincarnation. Again, the soul gets into another body. So this is the first knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to understand. And therefore, the soul, I remember I was studying in 12th class. And that time, some of the students, some of my friends only were troubling me. And I was quite worried because I didn't have a very hefty physics and they had a hefty physics. But when I started reading Bhagavad Gita and when I read this verse, the soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, not burned by fire, not moistened by water, not withered by wind. I was very happy. There is no need to fear anybody. One time, 2 very fat ladies, they were going in a rickshaw. They have come to a class, and in the class, this ladies heard the class. One ISKCON devotee was giving a class and he's speaking, you're not his body or spirit soul. Now everybody would tease these fat ladies, moti aa gayi, right? People have a habit of telling that moti aa gayi. So they felt very happy when they heard they are not his bodies. So hum moti nahi hai, because Atma is not moti, Atma is not patli, right? Atma is part and parcel of God. So if anybody teases you, तुम्हारी आँख कैसी है, तुम्हारी नाक कैसी है, तुम्हारी लंबाई कैसी है, don't worry, because you are not this body, you are spirit soul. And this is the first knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, which is given. So it is said the soul is invisible. Yeah, the individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burned nor dried. His everlasting place present everywhere. Right? So it is said and one should not grieve for the body. So we cannot see the soul because it is antimatter. It's not matter. It is antimatter. How can we see antimatter with our eyes? Right? Now you may ask, what is the proof for the soul? Like many times, common sense, right? Somebody dies. What do you say? He passed away. So which is the one? What has passed away? It is the soul which has passed away, right? Then there are example of phobias. See, there's a Dr. Ian Stevenson who has found a research on reincarnation cases where people are remembering their past lives. So if the soul transmigrates into another body, there should be a concept of past life that we had lived earlier. So phobias, they come from past life. So phobias are related to the mode of death of the person whose life is being remembered. Like for example, if somebody has died in a previous life with water, he will have a great phobia with water. He will never want to go for swimming, never want to go to a swimming pool or a river and thing, because he's carried that perception in his subtle body from last life. Another example, somebody is killed in the previous life, ended in a stabbing. There would be a great phobia of bladed weapons, even knife he will fear. If somebody shot it, phobia of firearms. Right? So this Stevenson, he had done great research around 3,000 reincarnation cases. He had studied not only in India, but all the world around, of Christians, Muslims, everywhere he found where people are remembering their past life. And this is an example of Shukla. The Shukla was 5-year-old girl, right? And he was, so this is Shukla Gupta. So she's a 5-year-old girl. She suddenly comes and tells to his father that, father, Mr. Sen Gupta, that I am Meenu. She remember her past name, and she says, I'm this, my husband is this, and my home is this. And Mr. Sen Gupta, his father, for this 5-year-old child, he was very much worried. Are what she's saying? Then she found out that the name of the village she used to call Bhatpara is there nearby. So they took her when they took this 5-year-old girl to a place named Bhatpara, which was, according to her, was her past life home. So when they came, she directed them that this is the home I used to stay in the last life, right? And the 5-year-old girl can't tell a lie, to make a story or cook up thing. So avoiding various possible wrong turns, she brought them straight to the house of Sri Amritlal Chakravarti, her father-in-law, Sasur, in her past life. Then Shukla recognized her previous lifetime house. But when she entered through a wrong place. She identified the house, but she was going to the house, she went through a different direction in the house. Right? And then they found that after her death, they have changed the gate of the house. The Shukla recognized her previous lifetime house, her mother-in-law, brother-in-law, husband and daughter, and indicated Sri Harichardan Chakravarti as her husband. In fact, she had a daughter named Meenu. So she took her in her lap, the 5-year-old girl, and treated like a daughter. And he was able to remember the name of everybody, indicated Sri Harichardan Chakravarti as her husband. And the nicknames as well as real names of all brother-in-laws. And this small 5-year-old girl remembering everything. So these are many, many examples of reincarnation. Same way, we can see consciousness. Like from one another point to see, like a machine may see red color, but machine doesn't consciously think it is red color. But when we see red color, we may also develop an attraction towards red color. So there are many, many things in our life by which we understand we are not this body, we are spirit soul. And there's a whole session understanding about it. And as you keep coming for these sessions, we will discuss more about it. So before we know about God, we have to first understand who we are. Right? Then we can understand our relationship with God in a more better way, in a more holistic way. Right? And when I yesterday had asked, 70% of you have answered that yes, we are not his body, we are spirit soul. Now, Arjuna is confused about fighting the battlefield. But Krishna is telling him to fight a battle. And the first thing is giving his knowledge of soul. You know why? Because he's telling that the soul is beyond, soul is always pavitra. And we should do our duty. If I'm a student, I should do my duty of studies. If I am a military person, I should be ready to go and fight on the battlefield. Right? I should not hesitate to die. Why? Because anyway, after death, I will have another body. But if a civilian goes and kill and if a military officer comes and kills a civilian, what happens? He's put into jail because that is not his duty. So Bhagavad Gita teaches how to do our duty without attachment very nicely. Right? So this is the message of Bhagavad Gita. Now, after telling about the knowledge about soul, Krishna again comes and refutes all the 5 arguments of Arjuna. So Arjuna had given 5 arguments, right? That why I will not fight. He has told that I don't want to kill my relatives. It is sinful. I will not be able to enjoy in this world. And then Arjuna also had said that the traditions will get lost. And Krishna defeated all those arguments one by one. The first answer Krishna gives is compassion. Soul will not die, right? You're not killing Bhishma and Drona, so don't show compassion. Like many, if a terrorist, like previously in India, if a terrorist come, he will not be given Fasi and there will be mercy shown. But what will happen? To catch that terrorist, 100 other people's life will go into risk. So what Krishna is saying, if somebody is a terrorist, somebody has done adharma, he should be punished. And by punishing, you're releasing his soul from sin. The soul will not die, so do not hesitate to do your duty. Then second thing Krishna says, you will rule over earth if victorious. So see, if you die, you will go to heaven, and if you win, you will rule over heaven, rule over earth. And by not doing your duty of a warrior, see, if a military person runs away in fear of killing the enemy, he will incur sin. Everybody will say, "Arey bhagya yahan se," right? If military soldiers, like 20 people, they gave their life in fighting with Chinese soldiers, but they got the Veer Chakra award. Why? Because they did their duty, though they killed so many of the Chinese warriors. So for a Kshatriya to do his duty is the best. Then you should know the purpose behind the Vedic tradition. If you do not find, then you will ruin Vedic tradition. If everybody becomes like Duryodhana, molesting women, disrespecting women, then what will happen? Whole civilization will get destroyed. And whole Bhagavad is spoken for the purpose for Arjuna to decide what is the reason he should fight. So therefore, now from this point on, Bhagavad Gita teaches us how we can do our duty in our life. Now, we may not be able to understand that I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul. We have not fully realized. We may have a little understanding. So how we can develop that understanding, how we can practically live in this world. With this understanding, when we have not fully realized that I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul, Lord Krishna gives great formula for that. Now, whether you're a child, whether you're a young man, or whether you are a housewife, this knowledge of Karma Yoga, which is given by Lord Krishna, makes sense to each one of us. That how Lord Krishna gave this Karma Yoga, right? Because all of us are working. But whether you're a student, while working, you say, "Padhai nahi karne ka hai, bahut boredom hai." If you're working for a job, this is too boredom a job, I don't want to do it. Or in fact, during COVID time, the doctors had a tough time. Why? There was a fear. If we go, there's a fear of death. And then so what should I do my duty? Should I not do my duty? So many times these difficult situations will come. So Bhagavad Gita gives such a formula to do your duty that even today modern people are realizing that Bhagavad Gita is a masterpiece when it comes to management principles, when it comes to dealing with the right principles, when it comes to universal principles. And that's what we are going to see, what way Lord Krishna is talking about Karma Yoga. So the Sutra verse of Karma Yoga is Karmani eva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachan ma karma phal hetuhu mate sangast karmani. See, most of the time, people are sitting in a tournament. So what happens? Always attention. Will I win this tournament or will I lose the tournament? If a child is sitting for exam, oh, how much marks will I get in the exam? Will I get fail? Will I get pass? And most of the time, this worry, kills our enthusiasm to work. Even during exam, we cannot properly focus on the exam. If you're given an interview, whether this person will select me, whether this person will not select me, we're not able to focus on the work. Why? Because we're too much worrying about the result, right? So we have to put our hard work. But Bhagavad Gita teaches why to worry about the result, because result is not in our hand. That doing endeavor is in our hand, result is in God's hand. So perform the endeavor to serve God. So never consider yourself the cause or result of your activities. And knowing that results do not depend upon you, don't be attached of not doing your duty. This is a seed verse for karma yoga. So if we just doing our duty for the sake of duty, that I'm a student, I should study work nicely, and we should have a goal. It's not that we should not have a goal. We should have a goal. That okay, my goal is to get good marks. My goal is to be a good doctor. My goal is to be a good engineer. Goal is there, but we understand that God is in control of results. We may not always get the desired results in our life. Then we should not get frustrated. Keep endeavoring. Like there's an example of Thomas Alva Edison. So first he failed 999 times before making a successful bulb, right? Because he keep endeavoring. He didn't worry about the result. But what happens in our life, we keep worrying about the results so much that we're not able to perform any work. Another thing Bhagavad Gita is teaching, we should work for the purpose of purification, right? For offering our service to God. And the example of this, Dureni avram karma buddhi yoga dhananjay buddho sharanam anvicha kripana fal hetava. Oh Dhananjay, keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service. And in that consciousness, surrender to the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are miser. So when we engage, like this example of Bhaktivedanta Hospital. This you see Bhaktivedanta Hospital, all are doctors, but at the same time they are devotees. So what the Karma Yoga teaches us, that we don't have to give our work, but use everything in connection to God, then there will be peace. We will be stress-free. So what these doctors do, like when there were a lot of accidents during Mumbai time, these doctors, the Bhaktivedanta Hospital, he got all the faculty casualties in that train accident near Mira Road and treated them. But at the same time, when patients come, if they are from Hindu religion, they will talk to them, give them Bhagavad Gita. If they're from Christianity, Muslim, they will give Bible, Quran, or other things. So they will facilitate a person to come nearer to God. Any patient who will go, and any patient who comes, and even there is a service for near death. If some patient is going to die, and that's a very horrible moment for people, so they will do kirtan for that person so that he can peacefully leave the body, have great hope in the body. So they are doctors as well as devotees. So their work becomes their service. The same way, if somebody is a farmer, then he can tend cows and have the bull and use it for God's service. So whatever work is there, when we connect that work to God's service, we become happy in life. So here is an industrialist, Mafatlal Fabrics. And here is Amrish Prabhu, great grandson of Henry Ford. This is called great grandson of Henry Ford, the Ford Motors. And he's a billionaire. But of his income, he's making a temple in Mayapur worth 700 crores. And Rishikesh Mafatlal, he's a great industrialist in Mumbai. But he is happy running the whole of his company, at the same time engaging in Lord's devotional service. Prasade sar dukhanam hane asapajayate prasanna chetaso yasu buddhi parvashtadite. For one thus satisfied, the three mode means of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. So when one becomes Krishna conscious, he becomes happy. So now the link, so this here we end the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Now from here, the link to the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it starts. Now what is that link to the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Now Arjuna has heard about soul. And Arjuna also heard about doing the duty. Now Arjuna gets confused. Krishna, if you want to tell me about soul, anyway I'm leaving. So better I go to forest and realize I'm not his body, I'm his spirit soul. But on the other hand, Krishna, you're talking about you should do duty. So what should I do? Arjuna gets confused. Should I become a sadhu and realize that I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul? Or should I do my duty in this world? So Arjuna is getting confused. So in this world, you see, when people get detached and say, I'm going to chhod ke jana chahta hu, right? But then people say, but that's not the solution, to leave everything. And that's what Krishna is telling to Arjuna over here. And here's an example of Amrish Maharaj. He was a great king, but a great devotee of the Lord. So one time Durvasa Muni, who was a great ascetic, comes to the assembly of Amrish Maharaj. And Amrish Maharaj took prasad before Durvasa. So Durvasa Muni became angry and put a demon to harass Amrish. But that time Lord Sudarshan Chakra comes and killed that demon. And finally, Durvasa Muni had to fall at the feet of Amrish Maharaj. So therefore, a devotee is always protected by the Lord. No matter he's a grahast, he's a family man, he is a king, but he's always protected by the Lord. And that's the beauty of devotional service, right? So we talk about soul. So what is the food for soul? Just like you see, we eat every day, right? 3 times a day we eat. We give food for the body. But are we giving food for our soul? So, what is food for the soul is chanting the holy names of God. When we connect to God, when we connect Atma to Paramatma, when we connect our soul to God, that gives us food for the soul and we feel satisfied. Just like by eating food, we feel satisfied. We get energy to work and our hunger mitigates. The same way, when we connect ourselves to God, our dukkha goes away, our distress goes away. We feel happy and we become blissful and joyful, right? Just by connecting to God. Just like we played the Kirtan yesterday, how happy these people were looking, even though they are Westerners. Why? Because when we connect to God through sound vibration, we feel a great peace. And now the third chapter starts, Arjuna Vacha. Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhi janardanaha tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojyasi keshavaha. O Janardhan, O Keshava, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare? If you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work, so why you want to engage? Better I become a sadhu, Arjuna is saying. But what Krishna says? Are you should do your prescribed duty. Your prescribed duty as a Kshatriya is to fight. You're a military man. You go and fight at the border, right? And don't renounce the work. Why? Because you may renounce your duties prematurely, but you will still want to enjoy. You will become a sadhu and ask for diksha. But somebody will insult you. You will take a talwar and kill that person because you're a Kshatriya, right? And nobody can stop working. People will be forced to do something or the other. And that's why you see many sadhus, in going in a railway line and smoking bidi, smoking sadhu, because they have not properly understood the meaning of Bhagavad Gita and prematurely they have renounced. They have not taken to real spiritual activities, right? But why do you may see ISKCON people are becoming sadhus. So we are becoming sadhus, but for preaching the mission of the Lord, for preaching the Bhagavad Gita mission of the Lord, to reach to people, to tell them about God, to tell them how to be happy in life, how to be free from suffering. So that's the reason we take sadhu life, not to give up the duties of this world, but to take higher duties to give Krishna consciousness to people. So we are fully in the society, helping the people of society. So one time, my spiritual master was giving a class in a college of CA accountants, and one person asked my spiritual master, if everybody becomes a Swami like you, then what will happen to this world? Who will do farming? Who will do business? Who will do all this thing? And my spiritual master thought for a moment and he asked a question. If everybody becomes a CA like you, then who will do farming? Who will do, doctorate? Who will do engineering? And who will do other things? And everybody started clapping. And then Maharaj said, in the same way, just like there are need of engineers, there are need of doctors, qualified engineers. That's the way we need some qualified sadhus. We need qualified people who teach authentically the message of Bhagavad Gita, the message of God, by which everyone in this world will be happy. In fact, there's the only solution to bring peace and happiness in this world. So Lord says work as worship. Now this concept of work as worship can very much help us, that how we can make our work as worship. So Krishna says, perform your prescribed duty, for doing so is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. See, if you don't work, how will you eat? How will you sustain? Right? So working one has done. But then most of people say, oh, duty is God, work is worship. Is it like that? No, it's incorrect understanding. The right understanding is do your duty as worship to God. Make your duty as worship to God. This is the right understanding. Right? So yajnanath karmano anyat lokoyam karma bandhana tad artham karma kantaya mukta sangha samachara. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed, otherwise work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction. And in that way, you will always remain free from bondage. So when we do any work for God, then only we are happy in this world, right? When we do any work for God, then we feel happiness. We feel satisfaction in our heart. Otherwise, we feel completely, even after doing hard work, people don't find satisfaction. I remember just a 60-year-old man met me, 4 or 5 days earlier. And what he told, I did so much for my family. But when my daughter-in-law has come, he has made my value completely zero. Whatever I worked hard for, I feel I'm cheated in this world. So when we do anything in this world without keeping God in the center, the result comes is frustration, the anxiety. Initially, we find successful, but eventually we will not find it happiness. But whatever we are doing in life, just connect God to it. And how to connect God? That's what the discussion of our topic, right? There. So what is the difference between work? Like the same knife can be used to kill somebody, same knife can be used to treat surgery. The same work, right? Same work can bring stress and same work can bring joy to us. How? Let us see. So generally, when we work, we have a benefit. We get livelihood and our mind is engaged. But what are the problem comes? Tension, stress, fear of result, deadlines, obligation. Now, but when you go in a temple, you do worship. What do you feel? You feel peace, divinity. So work as worship, when you do, you get livelihood, you get peace, you get divinity, you get engagement, and your heart is purified. But there is no problem. Just think about it. See, work, the problem is tension, deadlines, obligations. Worship, peace, divinity. Benefit, livelihood. But work as benefit, worship gives you all benefit with no problems. Therefore, if you're a student, learn to do work as worship. If you're a housewife, learn to do your work as worship. If you're an office going person, work as worship. If you're working from home, work as worship. Add God into your life. Just like if there are 10 zeros, 10 zeros have no value. But if we add one in front of 10 zeros, how much it becomes? 100 crores or something? 1 billion, 1 million. So that's the value of one. So when you add God before our all qualifications, before our thing, our life becomes very valuable to people. So worship is to please God and prayer, meditation to God. Work is enjoy the result without God. Work as worship is offer the results to God, understand God is the proprietor, controller, and enjoy. Now, how it is, we should understand that whatever we are getting in this world is provided us to by God. Suppose somebody is a sugarcane mill owner, right? Sugar mill owner, making sugar. I remember my father was my father had a sugar industry, right? When in my childhood, so a lot of sugar cane will come and we produce sugar. Right? But if God doesn't give sugar cane, can we make sugar? No. So we are receiving everything from God. God is giving us sunlight. God is giving us moonlight. God is giving us food, right? God is giving us fresh air. Now, during COVID times, we realize that if the pandemic comes, we can't do anything happily. We can't travel. So many problems come. But God is giving us free air. So many facilities He has given. But do we show our gratitude to God? See, if you do not pay electricity bill, what happens? Municipality will cut your electricity, right? The electricity department will cut your connection and you will live without light. But God is giving sunlight. But are we paying anything in return to God? God is giving us vegetables, food, grains, everything. Nothing comes in laboratory. Nothing grows in supermarket, right? Everything grows in fields, farms. Right. Now the situation has come. If you ask a child, no, from where milk comes, he said, no, the supermarket milk comes. He doesn't know that a cow gets milk, cow eats grass. That much because of our life with Vedic culture with the village culture has been cut off. So we cannot see the hand of God in our life and we feel a disconnection. So when we understand that God is giving us everything in this world, right? So just for example, in any country, right, there's a home ministry who takes law and order. The same way in universal government also there is a law and order. If somebody does smoking, right, they get lung cancer. This is law of karma. Somebody is engaged in prostitution, they get AIDS, right? So how so just like home health ministry supplies medicines, the same way Lord has given us Ayurvedic herbs, naturopathy, work, etc. So like that finance ministry, defense ministry. So there is a universal government who is managing everything. Now, if a laborer is making the house, and after making the house, oh, he says, no, give the home to me. The Thekedar says, will he be punished or not? He will be punished. Because the proprietor, the person who has given the money, who has given the material to the laborer, when he constructed the house belongs to the owner, not to the laborer or the contractor. Same way, whatever we are doing is belongs to the Lord. The whole property belongs to the Lord. So we should worship God, right? We do not make the cereals, vegetables, rainfall in factories or laboratories. Vegetable, milk, everything is supplied by God to us. You see, heat, sunlight, moonlight, rainfall, everything is manufactured. Nothing is manufactured in society. So what we are paying to God, right? For gas cylinder, we pay for, but do we pay for firewood to God? So therefore, we should understand there's a higher purpose in this universe. And what is the purpose of this universe? To fulfill the desires of living entities according to the rules given by God in the Vedas. Purpose, purification of heart from lust, envy, greed, pride, anger, illusion. Just think, why there is a problem in this world? We become angry. Relationship is spoils. Why so many rapes are there? Lust, right? Why so many problems? Selfish desires due to lust. It awakens in people's heart. Then pride. After pride, rich people trouble poor people. Black versus white issue is what? Black consider themselves superior to white, or white consider themselves superior to black, right? So it is something out of pride. They do not see that this black person also has the same soul as a white person has. It's the same Atma. Hindu Muslims they find, but the soul is same. There is no different Muslim soul and Hindu soul. The soul is same. The God is one. But still people keep fighting, not understanding that we are all spirit soul. We are part and parcel of God in this world. If this knowledge is taught, in fact, Vedic time, this was the knowledge that was taught in Gurukul, that you are not his body, spirit, soul, and it is practice. Then naturally they follow the sanskaras. I was recently talking to my sister, who is 21-year-old. So and she wanted to be very modern, have many boyfriends and everything. But her father was opposing, Arey beta, you should not mix with boys, you should not do this. And she was not understanding why my father is posing so much restriction upon me. Then I told him, see, my dear sister, you're not this body or spirit soul, right? So what will be your next life? What will happen to you depends upon how you follow the laws made by God. So the purpose of life is not to enjoy. Purpose of life is to purify our heart, and with that purification, fulfill your desires. Right? We have desires to eat. We have a desire. People have desire for marriage. So no problem. Fulfill that, but under God's laws. So when you fulfill your desire, understanding about God, understanding the higher purpose of life, it brings the purification in the heart. It brings purification of heart, and when the heart is purified, mind is peaceful. Most of the time, mind is unpeaceful, is stressed, not peaceful because of unearths in the heart. Why there is so much envy? Why so much relationship problems? Because that person has envy, we have envy. That person has pride, we have pride. So many clashes, causes. But what the Bhagavad Gita study does is purify the heart. What work as worship does is purify our heart, and then one can live a happy life. So work as worship fulfills both the purposes. And finally, Lord is suggesting work as devotion to Supreme Lord. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasaha nirashi nirmamo bhutva idasve vigajjaraha. Arjuna, fight! But how you should fight? Giving all activities unto me. Without any proprietorship, without any attachment, you should fight. Just example, a cashier. See, cashier counts millions of dollars, but he doesn't take any sinful action upon himself, right? The same way, a devotee work everything on God's account. Example of Hanumanji, great devotee. So anything he will do, Jai Shri Ram. And Hanumanji did big things. He went to Lanka, but say only by Lord Ram's mercy I could go to Lanka. And Lanka, he did tremendous things, killed so many of soldiers, killed so many of valiant armies of Ravana. In fact, went to the assembly of Ravana and challenged Ravana and told about the glories of Lord Ram, Jai Shri Ram. And then Hanumanji comes back, and Lord Ram was eagerly waiting about the message of Mother Sita. Hanumanji come and first he found Sita I. So Lord Ram may be very eagerly waiting to know about Sita, and therefore Hanumanji says found, mil gayi. That's the positive news. Who? Sita. And who found it? I. So I was the less, and who? The service of the Lord was in front. So this is a mood of Hanumanji, though he had a great strength, great power, but is always dedicated to the service of Lord Ram and Lakshman, right? To dedicate it to the service of Sita Ram. So when we learn from such great devotees, Hanumanji, how to serve Lord Ram, how to serve Lord Krishna, how to serve Lord Narayan, then our life is successful. So Hanumanji is doing big things, but in the service of the Lord. The same way in our work, we can do big things, but in our service of Lord. And then Arjuna asks that while doing work, Krishna, you are talking about doing work, but while doing work, Athakena pariyuktayam papam charati purushaha anichan api vashneya baladivanyojitaha. O descendant of Vrishni, by what is one impelled to do sinful act even unwillingly as if engaged by force? Many times it happens, we don't want to become angry, but anger comes. We don't want to, have envy towards somebody, but envy comes. So we will see many times we'll be forced to do things which we don't want. Suddenly wrong word will come out of our mouth. How? So Arjuna asking same thing, people don't want to engage, but how this wrong things come in their mind or words? And Lord Krishna answers, Kamesha, Krodesha, Rajoguna, Samudbhava, Mahashano, Mahapapma, Veddi Enam Hiberinam. It is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion and later transformed into fear. So due to Kama born into Rajogun, right? So what we should do, we should keep ourselves in Sattva. And due to lust only, so lust gets fulfilled, turns to greed. And lust do not get fulfilled, lust gets fulfilled, turns to greed. Lust does not get fulfilled, becomes anger. If you want something and if you don't get it, it converts into anger. But if you want something, you get it, we want more and more. So this desire, the bad habits are made due to this desire. So like people go into intoxication. So first they take up bad habits, they control bad habits, and then bad habits control them. Right? Bad habits control people. So first they say, okay, I will take only one time. But then they are encountered. And many students see same way, watching dirty movies, dirty pictures, dirty photos, people are getting addicted to that. So one time they will say, I will do it, but their mind gets captured to doing that dirty stuff, right? Intoxication, smoking. So it feels good, but they completely captures our consciousness, and a person finds very difficult to give up. And now more internet addiction is coming, mail addiction, that you just looking which mail has come, right? So person goes again and again. So many addictions and bad habits are coming in the society. So what is the solution Krishna is giving? Amazing solution here. Indriyani pararahu indriyabhe param manaha manasastu para buddhyo buddhyo paratastu sa. So that above the sense objects is the senses. Senses are what? Our eyes, nose, ears, skin. So our senses are uncontrolled. They're taken away. But above senses is the mind, our man. So if we control the mind, so senses, we should engage in Lord's service, like cleaning the Lord's temple hall, seeing the wonderful deity of the Lord, right? eating the prasadam of the Lord. So we should engage the senses in Lord's service. Mind also we should engage about hearing about Bhagavad Gita, chanting the holy names of God. Intelligence is purified by reading Bhagavad Gita, hearing the message of Bhagavad Gita, and the soul. Soul is our determination. So we make a determination, I don't want to do bad habit. Then we read Bhagavad Gita, right? We read Bhagavad Gita, we hear from sadhus what is right, what is wrong thing. Our intelligence becomes strengthened. Then mind, we hear kirtan, we do japa, then mind is purified. And we engage our senses in the right things. So any bad habit we have, maybe of anger, maybe of smoking, maybe of drinking, can be easily purified if one takes to Krishna consciousness. And there are many, many cases. There are many, many cases where the people who were having bad habits and they got purified. I'll tell you one such a story. There were some people in Tasgaon. So one devotee was distributing Bhagavad Gita. So he went to a shop. So he doesn't have a chain. So he took a Bisleri bottle, and in exchange of Bisleri bottle, he gave a Bhagavad Gita. Now, while he gave a Bhagavad Gita, there were 4 or 5 people who used to drink every night. But they received Bhagavad Gita and they said, oh, Bhagavad Gita has come. So they had little faith in our culture. So they took Bhagavad Gita and started reading. Okay, Bhagavad Gita has come. So we will read one shloka and then we will start drinking. So every day start, reading one chapter, one shloka of Bhagavad Gita. So by the time the one page or few verses of Bhagavad Gita, so by the time they come to 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, what happened? They saw it was written, if somebody doesn't offer his food to God, he is sinful. He is a thief. So they start offering some saying dana, groundnuts to the Lord before that. And after that, somebody will take that groundnut and eat it. Then they reach to 7th chapter. So when they reach 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, they read, oh, one should remember Krishna. One should chant Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So they thought, okay, first we will read one page of Bhagavad Gita, 1 or 2 pages of Bhagavad Gita, and then we will chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So they automatically start doing it. And then they started doing Daru party. So by the time they reached to 17th chapter, 16th, 17th chapter, they saw, hey, one should not drink liquor. So they thought, okay, let us. So now eventually what happened, their time of drinking reduced and their chanting increased, right? And they're all reading Bhagavad Gita increased. So one day, one sannyasi came and they met a sannyasi and they told a story how they got transformed by reading Bhagavad Gita. And then sannyasi told, very nice. Now what you need is a satsang program. And then he sent a devotee, and every time they had a satsang program, they started having kirtan, they started reading Bhagavad Gita, and all their bad habits went away and they took initiation also. So this is the power of reading Bhagavad Gita and the association of the devotees. If we just apply in our life, all our bad habits will go away, no matter how small or big they will be. And today's the youngsters, so much on internet, so much dirt, so much things are there. But the best way to get rid of all that dirt is taking the holy name, chanting of the holy names of God and reading Bhagavad Gita. So tomorrow's session will be very special because we are going to discuss how to control our mind, how to do mantra meditation, how to find the great application of Bhagavad Gita, and how the mind intelligence works. The mind is feeling. Mind is about feeling. Intelligence is about making decisions, right? So if somebody has just 1 minute, I complete this. Oh, sorry. Okay, so the mind feels Mind feels intelligent things. I'm an engineer. I should know how to hold a cigar at least. Intelligent thing, Arey, that's a bad habit. Why you want to, oh, your parents want to see you doing this. You may become addicted to it. Don't get into wrong thing. Then mind feels, oh, I think it's fun. Everyone is doing it anyway. I should experience what's life at least once. Intelligent thing, oh, you fool. Why do you hurt yourself by this bad habit that wastes your money, ruins your good health, and may cause you cancer in the future? Stop it. Don't even dream about it. Don't even dream about it. Then intelligence helps us. So, right, mind
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,